Hello everyone and welcome to part 3 of the Sonic 3D Blast Let's Play. Now it's time for Spring Stadium Zone. And this one it's probably my second favorite zone in the game just because the colors look all pretty. The colors feel so right. But yeah, I like this one. It's all bright and colorful and kind of looks like kind of reminds me of McDonald's back before it was boring and corporate looking. Man, why did that become a trend? Why are all restaurants soulless and corporate now? Like, I get it. Corporations are corporations. They've always been soulless and evil, but man, why it wasn't as blatant back then, because at least you had stuff like McDonald's cartoons and playpens and all those fancy things. It's just, but I mean, at the same time, I guess I get it because fast food's unhealthy and they don't want to market so heavily to kids with it. But at the same time, I kind of miss when my local McDonald's was red and white and all colorful, and now it's just gray and boring and looks like a freaking box. It looks like a box of sadness. I hardly ever want to eat there. That's the same way with just about every other restaurant, too. Wendy's used to have, like, this thing where everything was, like, yellow and red, and now it's boring looking, and Pizza Huts are the same way now, too, and I don't know, take me back. Taco Bell used to have that real 90s aesthetic where everything was, like, drink cup colored. Anyways, Spring Stadium, here's another neat one, though. I also like the music here. Although I'm more impressed by the Act 2 remix. I find that a trend in most of these levels in Sonic 3D Blast, that I like the second act music a little bit more. Now, rather than have a little warp chute there's just an arrow and a gate. And that slide that I spun down. Hey, it's Tails. Watch out, Tails, you're gonna crash. Ah! Anyways, I'll give him my 75 ringaroos and head on to the next special stage. I gotta be getting pretty close to being done with these special stages. If I remember right, I've already got... Yeah, this would be the 5th one. I plead the 5th of Jack Daniels. Although I would kind of wish... I haven't had any Jack Daniels in quite some time. Jack and Coke. Coca-Cola, by the way, of course. For those of you who don't know, not Jack Daniels and cocaine. I've never done that. But I have drank plenty of Jack Daniels in my day. I swear, I'm not an alcoholic. I just enjoy a drink from time to time. When I was younger, I enjoyed a drink a little bit more frequently, and I definitely had some pretty reckless and ridiculous tales from my days of heavy alcohol use. Now, one thing I have yet to do over here on the channel is a drunken Let's Play. That seems like a dangerous idea, but also kind of fun idea. Maybe one of these days I'll play like some kind of party game or something and just go all out. Some of my favorite Let's Players have done drunk LPs before. Hey, it's Knuckles, even though it serves no purpose now. It really is a shame that you can't just double up on the Chaos Emeralds in an act. But it's all good. It's all good. It's also kind of interesting to note that there's no checkpoints in this game. Actually, scratch that. I guess the checkpoints would be after each set of flickies when you go into the first rings. And then you got those spinning Sonic heads that I forgot to mention earlier. Those are just little Sonic head icons. If you get 10 of them, you get a continue. Some of them are easier to get than others. Some of them really just require having all the flickies with you at once, and if you don't, some of them will just be slightly out of reach. Just a little bit out of reach. You got that green flicky over there just kind of wandering around. But yeah, flickies, though, they've been kind of a mainstay in the Sonic series for years, even before 3D Blast. There was even a standalone flicky game on the Sega Genesis, which, if I'm not mistaken, predates Sonic. Maybe one of these days I can do a flicky playthrough, although I was never particularly fond of the game. I've certainly played it a bit. I believe it's the next to last thing you unlock in the original Mega Collection. That's gonna do it for the first act. And also, you get a little extra bonus depending on if you see Knuckles or Tails for the special stage. But yeah, I like this remix a little better. This sounds a little bit more whimsical. I like whimsy. And then there's a strange pinball-looking section, which I just recently got a copy of Sonic Pinball Party to complete my Sonic set for the Game Boy Advance. It's a pretty neat game. I'd never played it before until I'd bought the cartridge, and yeah, that's about all I can really say. It's more so pinball. It's more so like you're just playing standard pinball with like Sonic themes than it is like Sonic Spinball. Sonic Spinball is kind of a beast of its own. Which, Sonic Spinball, that's a good game. I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of people view that game negatively. I actually have a friend who has pretty much made it a meme to include Sonic Spinball references in a lot of his videos, and anytime he takes a picture, he's got to have his copy of Sonic Spinball in the background. It's some kind of running joke. But at least even he agrees that Sonic Spinball is a decent game. I think a lot of people are kind of hard on it just because it's one of the more difficult games, and it also ends up being one of the lesser memorable Sonic games in a way. Ah yeah, the yellow shield. Looks like I'm missing a flicky though. Where could that last one be? Where are you at, you son of a gun? There it is. Just home in and grab that. And yeah, I'll go ahead and get that Sonic icon. Ah yes, the colors and the whimsical music. Spring Stadium's definitely a standout zone in this one. I feel like Spring Stadium and Diamond Dust, as we get to the halfway point of the game, that's pretty much where the game stops being as fun for me. As most of my playthroughs, like I said, with my short attention span, a lot of my playthroughs of Sonic 3D Blast usually end kinda early. Not this time though, folks. I'm in it for the long run. If I can get my rings here and avoid those spiky bits. Collect one hundo. Seems easy enough, I say, as I run into more spikes. The music here's pretty good too. Which, the music in, like I've said already, the music in both versions of the game's pretty good. Wait, both versions? Scratch that, folks. There's the third version of Sonic 3D Blast that I forgot to mention on the PC. Which, it's pretty much the same. I think it borrows more from the Saturn version than the Genesis version. Plus, it has its own unique special stages. And now I've got 6 of the 7 Jolly Ranchers. Which, I guess that means... I suppose that means in the next part I will get the last Chaos Emerald. This crab-looking robot just circling around like an idiot. Beep, boop, running around in a circle. Those spider ones are kind of neat, although I'm not really a fan of spiders. They usually spook me. I don't know, I think a lot of that just comes down to I don't know which ones bite, which ones are poisonous, and which ones are just chill. Well, actually, I know the ones they would refer to as the daddy long-legged spider. Those ones are pretty chill. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard that, like, they can be poisonous, but their mouths or their fangs are so small that they can't do anything to a human. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And those things there, those pufferfish. It's not a water level, but it's kind of strange to see those floating around. I've never been able to quite explain it, but those things kind of, those pufferfish robots kind of remind me of Garfield for some reason. I don't know, folks. I can't explain how my brain works. I'm just here to do some Sonic 3D Blast. Show off some blast processing. Oh, cool. Right off the bat, we've already got some enemies right there within reach. That's a neat little area there with the balloons. Gotta... yeah, just kind of gotta precisely leap. There's another one of those crab-like things. I'm sure all these robots have names, I'm just not aware of any of them. The only ones I can really think of off the top of my head are the most iconic ones, like Crab Meat and the Moto Bugs, and... actually, I don't know what the generic orange Eggman robots from Sonic Heroes onwards are called, but they show up a lot. I don't know what those ones are. Like egg prawns or egg pawns or something like that. But anyways, that's going to do it for Act 2 of the Spring Stadium. And I do believe it is boss time once again. Now, you may notice that I've lost a couple of lives. Now, thanks to the magic of editing, you didn't see my epic fails. You didn't see me die twice to this Eggman boss, which I believe the only deaths I have in this game are boss battle deaths. As I pulled a couple of mistakes and ran myself out of rings, pretty much. And it was at this point where my short attention span was starting to show a little bit. Now, I did use some save states, but I don't feel like it delegitimizes things because I didn't really need to use them. I mostly just used them for recording pauses. But the boss battle music is back from Green Grove here. Basically, the goal here is to just not get stomped by his spiky hands, or spiky arms, or whatever. And just hit him every time he lowers to the ground. Uh-oh. This can't be good. Okay, it's good. Yeah, it's all good now. It's all good in this neighborhood. And that's going to do it for the Eggman boss once again, and that's going to do it for Part 3, folks. I will see you all in Part 4.